Okay everybody, TechTeller here again with the 29th episode of the Heroes Appendix video series. Its purpose is to help newer and veteran players alike to fully understand the ins and outs of all the characters in Hero Wars Mobile. In today's video, we're reviewing the second place winner of the most recent vote amongst my patrons, Tristan, who is one of the newest hero additions added in 2021, and although he was underappreciated at first, he has since solidified his place amongst some of the most formidable heroes despite having only one skin available to purchase. In today's video, we are going to be discussing his skills, how they visually appear, and their uses both practically and strategically, when to use Tristan, when not to, his roles in the team, skin priority order, artifact priority order, and glyph priority order. First up is Tristan's activatable skill, Purifier's Wrath, which is commonly referred to as his ultimate because this is the ability he can use once his yellow energy gauge is filled during battle. Tristan grows larger in size and whips his flail into the enemy front line, dealing area of effect damage. This skill has a 25% physical attack ratio plus 9,000, which is relatively low as far as damage is concerned. However, it has a decently large range and can cleave multiple enemy units, sometimes 3 or more. Tristan's second skill is called Righteous Zeal. Tristan will use both hands and raise the chain of his flail upwards while surrounding him and the allies in front of him with a glowing yellow light, which will raise his and those allies' physical attack for 5 seconds. This skill has a 20% physical attack ratio plus 4,800, so it could raise his physical attack up to about 12,500, and potentially higher if he has buffs from other heroes while the skill is being activated. This skill can be used once every 12 seconds. Tristan's third skill is called Judge of Sorcerers. Tristan will raise one hand holding the ball of his flail in front of him and punch the spirits out of the container towards the enemy with the highest magic penetration. This skill will hit the furthest enemy unit from Tristan if nobody on the enemy team has any magic penetration. This skill deals damage and burns 10% of the target's maximum energy. This skill will hit once for each blessed hero on the team, including Tristan himself, so it's up to a maximum of 5 times, including the energy burn mechanic. This skill can be used once every 10 seconds. This skill also has a 5% physical attack ratio plus 3,000. And a note with this skill is it deals physical damage, so each of the additional triggered hits has the potential to critically hit. Another note with this skill is that while it does burn energy from the affected mage, he's also dealing massive damage to them. So if he does more than 50% of the unit's health, the energy reduction will be a wash with how much he grants them. So it's not an effective means to prevent the ultimate usage by the mage. Tristan's Violet ability is called Blessed Vanguard. Whenever an ally in front of Tristan gains energy, Tristan gains the same amount of energy. A note with this skill is although he does copy energy gains from those in front of him, he does not copy energy losses. So if the tank in front is being drained by Jorgen, Tristan does not suffer the same loss. Despite how the third skill sounds, this Violet ability is really his bread and butter skill. This is what makes him so powerful, and we'll discuss it in the follow-up sections. Let's take a deeper look now and see when you should be using Tristan. First up is with units who have low armor penetration. The second is with 2 tanks. Since Tristan benefits immensely from having units in front of him, and all energy gained by them is also gained by Tristan, he will be able to spam his ultimate skill every 3 attacks or so versus Orion's every 2. While his ultimate skill itself isn't that amazing, his artifact weapon is granting the entire team armor penetration, so he's effectively becoming a physical-oriented Orion. The next time to consider using him is with Sebastian and Jet. Everything Tristan does is physical based and helps him walk through the enemy front line. Seb and Jet also specialize in walking through the enemy front line. As mentioned previously in the skill descriptions, his third skill can critically hit, and each hit of it, up to 5, can also trigger Sebastian's pure damage, dealing upwards of 145,000 damage, which can almost instantly kill some units like Lars, especially if paired with an execute skill, Galahad for example. And another time to consider using him is with Cornelius. While it might seem like a no-brainer because Cornelius is also a blessed hero, Cornelius deals explicitly physical damage, both with his basic attacks, which he has the strongest in the game, and his ultimate ability. So these are two natural allies. His armor penetration buff, which will be up most of the time, enables Cornelius to even one-shot a fully maxed out Krista. Now we'll take a look at when you should be avoiding Tristan in your team. The first up is if the enemy has Satori. Since Tristan's focus is gaining bonus energy very fast, he becomes a natural target for Satori. While sometimes you may win by just steamrolling them, it won't be consistent enough to bet on. And then teams with Jorgen on them if you're relying heavily on your ultimates to win the fight. It should come as no surprise that the master of energy manipulation is a thorn in the side of the heroes who swim in endless energy. Now we'll discuss his roles in the team. Tristan's role is warrior, and I argue that he's also support as well, since he's not typically your damage dealer or even close to it, but his artifact weapon and violet ability are usually your team's win condition. Tristan is an overall bulky unit with 544,000 health. He's also extremely aggressive, boasting 38,000 physical attack with the potential to raise that to over 50,000, and dealing 100 to 150k cleave damage per basic attack skill use after he activates his artifact weapon. When I think about Tristan, he's often in a support role as a major enabler of both the tanks in front of him and potentially the mage killer behind him. This makes him incredibly useful on both attack and defense because he can enable heroes like Yasmin, who don't normally have armor penetration, to go hog wild on the enemy team. But even if she dies, the tanks can still be doing just as much damage since their damage is completely unmitigated. In this segment, we'll be discussing his skins. The top priority skin is his default skin, which offers 1,365 physical attack and 54,600 health. This skin keeps Tristan in the game and spamming his ultimate. More than anything else, Tristan being alive in your team is paramount. Second in priority is his solar skin, which offers 7,095 physical attack, and is up next because it's his only skin left. It enables his skills to have optimal efficiency while enabling him to still show up on the damage charts. Next, we'll discuss artifact priority. The first up is his artifact weapon, Demonic Reliquary, which will grant him and his allies 32,040 armor penetration for 9 seconds. This boasts the biggest win condition for any team Tristan is on, and should absolutely be focused to get him usable the fastest. Second up is his artifact ring, which grants him 3,990 physical attack and 159,600 health, which offers a great deal of survivability and is his single greatest source of health and survivability. And lastly is his artifact book, which grants up to 10,680 armor penetration and 3,561 physical attack. This is just a way to round him out and become truly oppressive at endgame, but it's not necessary to level this to see a lot of his effectiveness early on. In our final segment, we'll now be discussing glyph stat priority. The first glyph to choose is health, which grants 30,800 health and is the biggest contributor to his survivability. Second up is his strength, which grants him 560 physical attack and 22,400 health, which grants him the next biggest boost to his survivability. The third glyph to choose is his armor penetration, which grants 3,360 armor pen and enables him to break through some of the toughest tanks, coupled with his artifact weapon. Fourth in priority is physical attack, totaling 2,240 physical attack, which is going to help him reach peak damage potential, but also help buff his teammates' damage output as well. And then the fifth glyph is his armor, granting 3,360 armor, and offers him some additional survivability. However, given his team position, he's rarely in harm's way enough to benefit from having additional armor. Okay, everybody, hopefully you found this video informative. If you do, please like, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube channel called Server2 Productions. Another thing to consider is recommending my content to your friends as well if you know they yearn for knowledge of the game. Since these videos are private, word of mouth is how they will get spread. Also, for a large and active Hero Wars mobile community, join my Facebook group called Hero Wars Mobile Community, The GOAT. The link will be in the video's description. Thanks for watching.